Now you go to a lot of shows. You are out and about a lot in the agency community, aren't you?
We do, and this is what is one thing that has grown in Ntaba is being there for the agent.
Mm.
I'll never forget listening to, and I've got to be very careful how I put it. I'll just say another safari company from somewhere else in the USA. This
Right.
guy very boldly said, "I do not work with travel agents," and I listened to that and I just thought, oh my God, I mean, the travel agent, of course, we all love to get that FIT because the commission goes straight to us and we love that. But it's the travel agent who comes back and come back. Last night I was up with a travel agent that did a farm trip with me through destination weddings and honeymoons.
Hmm.
And there were 6 of them, and all 6 of these agents have now booked groups with me. And that's 100%. That's a fantastic result. And we make the effort to drive all the way to Cleveland and to dodge a big old storm that went through Cincinnati by driving through West Virginia this morning. But the agents are our lifeline. And one of the comments that Stella has had repeatedly from the agents is thanking her for making them look so good in front of their clients.
Yeah.
And over and over and over, because we know that the better we can make you, the agent, look, the better the longer we stay in business.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you're saying. We're going to, it's the top of the hour, friends, so we're going to officially begin. And I want to welcome all of our boot campers in the house for coming. And because we have a special guest on, we open this up to the entire agency community. So if you're here as a guest, let me know. You got to type it in, and believe me, I'm not going to call on you, put you in the spotlight, try to sell you anything. Actually, wrong. I am going to try to sell you on something. I'm going to try to sell you on the concept. If you haven't already done a safari, do it, because we got the guy in the house here, Robin, who's going to answer any question that you've ever had in your whole life about doing African safaris. So welcome everybody. Let me just check one more time the question board, and then I'm going to introduce Rob. Actually, I'm going to let Robin introduce himself. He doesn't need me to introduce him. He's not. One thing you're not, Robin, is shut. You are not.
I gave that up as a bad habit long ago.
And the thing is, I used to be, growing up, man, I was the shyest kid in the world. And it wasn't until I started DJing on the radio in college, and it was the microphone that all of a sudden, this was my superpower. It gave me, So.
Stuart, I had a stutter so bad that I dropped out of high school. I'm a high school dropout. Okay, and I have degrees, but I mean, I dropped out of high school. My stutter was so bad that I couldn't say my wife's name, Stella. I couldn't.
Wow.
And you just exactly that. You grab the bull by the horns and you kick AWS. I mean, don't let little things get you down.
Right.
I had a stroke in 2011. I couldn't talk anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I taught myself to talk again, and it's we way too often, oh, I'm this or I'm that, and I can or I can't. No, you are your own. You are your biggest obstacle. Yeah. Anyway,
it's a great way to start, because we're learning more about you, and I know that you're a 5th generation African.
Correct.
And you and Stella have founded this company now for 12 years.
Correct.
Ntaba African Safaris. And we're going to dive deep now. We already have a question here from Lena, but I need you to please give us your mantra. What if anybody out there hasn't had the pleasure of meeting you yet? Because we already know you attend so many shows. You are so accessible to the agency community. Who are you? What do you do?
Okay, I immigrated to America in 1999. I specialize in artificial insemination of honey queen bees. I took a job. I ran a very large queen bee breeding operation in California. I was offered a teaching position in Kentucky at a university. I enjoyed it. I loved it, teaching apiculture, which is beekeeping. But Africa called louder. We thought that in fact, the word Ntaba is our last name in Zulu. How do you, too many of us like you, Ask Stuart Hour. Stuart, you incorporate that into your name. How do you incorporate mountain into safaris? As soon as you say mountain, everybody thinks of Kilimanjaro, which I have, by the way, climbed 3 times. And we thought that our travel company was going to go the adventure route, But then we realized that it wasn't. It was groups, and this is where I'm thrilled to speak to you today about groups and what grew our company. And unfortunately, it's got too big, and I've had to train other people to work with me. But is we don't send you to Africa, we take you to Africa. And that's a huge. I mean, I have led every single fam group that I have taken over. And again, for the agents who are listening, the best fam group that you can put together, I think I put this on your post, was 11 plus 1. Bring me 11 people, I comp you, and you go over. I go with you. And honestly, those people, make sure you've got a hairdresser, a plumber, and an attorney, people who talk a lot. And there we go. And they do the advertising for you. So that's, you know, and again, just to sum Ntaba up in 5 words, there's authentic, memorable, intimate, secure, and unique. That's who we are.
I like those 5 words because each word does say something entirely different, and
exactly.
It paints a beautiful picture of who you are and what you do.
Thank you.
Very cool. Why have you embraced the travel agent community? Because you also said earlier on, before we got going here, that there's other tour companies that don't. What do you see? What's the opportunity for them? What can they do to help you build your business? Just tell me why you're here. Why are you doing what you're doing with the agents?
Okay, again, as I mentioned, I'm former military. Because I'm a white South African, I was drafted into the military. My only other option was 5 years in jail. I'm not sure how many of you listening have spent a year in jail. I hope you haven't. But teamwork. There's no other explanation for it. You know, I have Gayleen in my office. Stella has 4 people with her next door, 3 people with her next door. It's teamwork. The only way we've been able to build Ntaba to what it is teamwork. If I had to stand out there and say, I don't want any agents, I don't want anything to do with agents, I'm only looking for FITs. Yeah. You better have $1 million for your marketing product. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Look at yourself as well. It's teamwork. I mean, how did you and I meet? I heard you in Las Vegas at Nexion, which is teamwork. I looked at you and I said, I like you. I want to work with you. And it's teamwork. And again, agents, you know, I'm an agent, you're an agent. And, you know, working together, I can make, you know, I mean, you know, if I look at some of the commission checks we write out, Stuart, and I know some of the situations they go to. There's a lady that lost her husband in Iraq, and I thank him for his service. And, you know what, and the commission checks that Stella writes out to her, I sign them with glee. You know, again, it's one hand washing the other one, and teamwork.
Robin, let me ask you this, and then we're going to start. We already have questions coming in. Dawn says that she was a stutterer as well. And she's wondering, is that a sales thing? She thinks our brains run faster than our mouths can keep up. I'm reading what she wrote, and that's true. I end up. My problem is when my brain runs too fast, I forget where I started from. I get off on a tangent. So now when I do my keynotes, I tell the audience, hey, if I get far off track, who's going to bring me back? And they do. They bring me back. But all right. Now, in your experience with the agency community, are most of your business with agents, are they agent-led? Is the agent the group leader bringing friends, family, clients, or are they just putting them together and sending the groups off? I'm curious what you see more of.
Good question. I would say probably 80, well, let's say 60-40. 60% are saying, Robin, here are my people, take them. Because of the 12 years they've trusted us. You know, there's been Nexion, which is CCRA, there's KHM, there's so on. And then we are having a lot more agents saying, Robin, I love that 11 plus 1. You know, we have over Christmas, we've got 2 families of 20 clients who are agents who are taking their families over. So, you know, again, there is no better education than the agent going with themselves. If I'm not leading it, it's one of my people. One of a hand-picked man in Cape Town is Desmond Blackhurst. In fact, he knew Stella before I did, and I often tease him and say that the best man won. But again, you know, you will always be in Ntaba hands, whether you're walking with the gorillas in Rwanda or whether you're walking with the penguins in Cape Town. And that is something that has grown us. You know, again, the agents to us, I mean, Stella takes, you know, unfortunately we are there 24/7 because when somebody phones you from Hawaii at their 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's very late here at night, but we still take that call.
Yeah. So you said education. Now my guess is, and this is one more question from me, and then we're going to hit the boards here, is that there are agents, and like me too. I've never been. I've never really studied it. I don't know. So maybe as an owner of an agency, I have this desire to go, this passion, but I'm afraid to market one, to tell people that I could put it together, because I don't know. I don't know what as far as I don't know what it takes. I don't know the opportunities. I don't know the risks. I wouldn't know how to answer questions from an audience if I make a presentation. So if I'm that agent, and friends, all of you who are tuned in right now, if you're that agent, if you've always wanted to go, but you're thinking, gee, I wish I could do a group, bring a group, but I don't know it. I'm not a specialist. I know resorts, I know cruising, I know river, whatever, but I don't know Africa. What would you say to me? How would you say don't bother doing it because you don't know it, or how do I need to become the expert? How can I rely on you? How do I overcome this fear and get into this business?
It's what every politician says when he stands up on the thing. Trust me. But again, it's been very hard to build up this track record. I didn't start my company with a track record. Now I can say, trust me. I fling out Jackie Friedman. Jackie Friedman joined me, and I have any Nation agent that calls me, I said, just call Jackie, and they have. And again, we do, in fact, we do free webinars. We have many agents who ask us to speak to their clients. A very good name that Stella has got is speaking to agents' clients for them. We don't negotiate price with an agent. We will never tell the client what commission your agent is getting. That is, it just go figure. But we've got many clients. I've got people that I'm working with for Kilimanjaro now. Where the agent said, Robin, here's the phone number, you've climbed that damn mountain 3 times, I don't know anything about it. And so as soon as we can, with the agent, Stella has a lot of time for working. She doesn't have a lot of time, but she makes a lot of time for speaking to agents. You saw Galen earlier, even myself, even Lisa. We will talk to the agent, we'll let them know, please don't go onto TripAdvisor, don't go onto, really, because it's only, got to be careful. It's just people who've had bad experiences who put comments there. And I'm sure you'll get a comment about that. But, get hold of us. We've got the track record. We are there to help you and work with you. We don't sleep until we know that you are happy with what. I mean, last night up in Cleveland, I got 2 groups, one high-end and one budget group. But just making the effort to go there and say, we'll do it for you. With the webinars, one-on-one, like we're doing. I live in Kentucky.
Well, what I love, what I'm hearing, and my boot campers, and you'll know when I reference group launch sequence for my non-boot campers, group launch sequence is something that I created to help agents market or launch a group to consumers. And basically, it's building up huge momentum before you open up for sale, so that you pre-sell it, so that you don't take any money, you don't say the price point until you build up such momentum. You tell people everything that's included, and then when they see the price and you open up the shopping cart, if you will, boom, everybody buys that first day, and it works. So you will be there, and you can help during this group launch sequence, which includes a sequence of events, the presentation, the information presentations. Let's go to the boards here. Lena says that she just joined Nexion and loves it. Very cool, Lena. I am doing their group boot camp in the fall, Lena. You got to know we're going down to Cancun for that, and I was their keynoter in San Diego last year. I do a lot with them. Great. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, Lena has this question. I'm interested in finding out if Ntaba African Safari will customize trips for small groups, or are they all preset? Robin?
Sorry, I didn't mention that. We do not have package A, B, C, or D. We have everything is customized. We don't work with DMCs. I played rugby against one of the owners of one of the large safari lodges that we use. Stella and I are on our way to South Africa now in May to a very, very large travel show for African safari lodges. Everything is customized. Is it difficult for us? Yes, it is. Is it rewarding for you and your clients? Absolutely. Stu, if I can just pick up on what you mentioned in the previous statement. I had a lady in San Diego, and I'll mention her name now, a lovely African-American lady, Toni Anderson from Atlanta. Sweet little lady. And she said to me, Robin, I want to put a group together to Africa. But she said that to me the year before. I said, Toni, go up to your room tonight and put on your Facebook that you are taking a group to Africa and who'd like to join you.
Right.
I get back to Frankfurt. I've got phone calls. I've got messages. Oh, my God, Robin, help me, help me. I go onto her Facebook page. She's got a list this long of people saying, I want to go to Africa with you. What do we do? Anyway, so that kind of put the cart in front of the horse. We've got her an itinerary, and she's got people saying, here's my credit card, what do I do? Because they trust the agent.
You said something to me when we first met, and in our subsequent conversations, that you want me and Kimberly, you want us to go, and I said, I know, it's on our list, and I bet you hear that a lot, but you gave, and I don't want to use your words, you tell us, because my guest agents, and tell me too, agents, type in, is it on your list? Have you never been, always wanted to go? What did you say to me that, and all of a sudden now you and I are having this talk about 2019, and before you say that, I just need to say this, everybody. Last night, I'm sitting at the Passover Seder table. Passover Seder is this long table, a lot of people. We were invited to a friend's house, meeting new people, making friends, having a wonderful experience. We're sitting next to the host, and we're talking, and because we're going on, Robin, you know this, and I think my boot campers know, we're going on a river cruise with family and friends next week. We leave, family and friends. And so we told him, and all of a sudden, she says something about a safari, Africa. Kimberly elbows me, and she goes, and she says, Patrick McCall would want to go, And I'm thinking, wow, how many people out there aspire, dream, plan, and you just proved that point with the agent you introduced with Toni. She just put it out there, and all of a sudden people are like, yeah. So what did you say to me that I'd like you to say to the agents, that the agents can say to the consumer, their friends, their family, when it comes up and they're like, yeah, it's on my list?
I want you guys to write down 3 letters, DDB, destination, date, and budget. And please, I'm not joking, guys. Please write that down, destination, date, and budget. Right. Because that's exactly what I said to Stuart. I said, destination. Are we talking East Africa, or are we talking South Africa or Southern Africa? Because if you look at Africa, it's a huge continent. It can contain the USA, all of Europe, and China as well. You can throw Japan in there if you'd like as well. That is Africa. So again, what part of Africa do you want to see? We specialize in Southern Africa and East Africa. Then again, date. Because I'm chatting to, I know Stuart can't go this year, he's too busy. I know Stuart can't go next year, hey, not a problem. What about 2019? Yeah. I mean, how did we marry our spouses, okay? I certainly did. I said, there's a date in the calendar. Boom, let's go for it. Yeah. But I chose a date, and that's the most important. And then budget is also very important. Two of the groups, or the 2 groups I got last night, you could see very quickly what the clientele was. One was high-end, just from the question she asked, how she put it, and the other one was like, wow, I'm not sure if my church can afford it. No, not knocking anybody, but you've got to know what your budget range is as well. Okay. So again, destination, date, and budget.
Robin, go into for a moment when we talk budget, because you've impressed upon me and our audience here that there is a budget range, and that you do custom tours, not off the shelf, because everybody boot camp knows this. They've heard it ad nauseum when I say that we can't, to do successful groups, you can't sell off the shelf, bare bones, stripped down product, because then why does the consumer need you? They'll just go online and book it. And so when we're talking budget ranges, when you say luxury and then you say lower budget, give us an idea of some of the things that somebody at the luxury end would experience that somebody at the more budget-minded end would not. So we have an idea of what that means in terms of an experience. Okay.
You know, when Stella and I started the company, exactly what you're saying. We said we are not going to have package A, B, C, and D, but you have a skeleton. And just, guys, think of the way you create an itinerary. You have a skeleton, but it's the meat that you put onto the skeleton. Some skeletons have more meat, and some skeletons have less meat. So, you know, we all fly into Johannesburg. That is the pinnacle point in Africa. Now, do we go down to Cape Town first, or Kruger first, or Victoria Falls? So what I often say, and I'll do my little ET thing, when you're selling a group to South Africa, remember South Africa we hosted the World Soccer. So you can have a whole itinerary around South Africa. You've got Cape Town, you've got Kruger Park, you've got Johannesburg. We often put Victoria Falls on as an add-on because you're so close. It's like going to the USA and you want to pop into Niagara and you want to go across the border. It's so close. So be very careful when you quote that price to Southern Africa. Like when you're going to Tanzania and Kenya, they're two different countries. You've got the Serengeti and you've got the Masai Mara. But you put them together and you quote a safari, it's expensive. But when you put them separately and say, wow, you're in the Serengeti, while you're there, for another $1,000, $2,000, you can do that. So basically going down, let's just take Southern Africa right now, going to Cape Town. We will all stay in Cape Town. Your higher end will probably stay in the Table Bay, which is where President Obama and his wife stayed, or in the One and Only, whereas the other entry level will stay at Commodore or Portswood, still perfectly good hotels. We do not do Airbnbs. You want to do an Airbnb, you find somebody else. Then once we go up to the Kruger Park, we don't go into the Kruger National Park. The Kruger National Park is like Yosemite or Yellowstone. In fact, when I do a presentation, everybody who knows me from my presentations, I say I've got one rule, and people look at my two fingers and say, you never learn to count. And our one rule is we do not allow more than 2 vehicles at a game sighting, and the reason for that is that exclusive. So again, the lodge that we'll use for the budget end would be one of the more informal lodges, and then the higher end would be your Mala Mala, Sabi Sabis, and so we fit you into where your budget is.
Okay, all right. So that was a great education for me, because when you hear more luxury and when you hear budget, what does it really mean in terms of the experience that people will have? And one of the most important things we need to do as travel advisors, this is what makes us special. This is what makes us different from the internet, from a .com, is that we ask questions. Where have you been? When you travel domestically, what kind of hotels do you stay in? What kind of car do you drive? Get an idea. And also, just because let's just say I'm the frugalist of all and I will stay at Airbnb or at a Holiday Inn. Make sure you don't put your own desires onto your consumer. Don't think that they won't want that luxury, because they may expect it, they may want it, they may cherish it.
Absolutely, 100%. Especially when you're dealing across cultural lines. I don't make a joke about being an African American. I am an African American. I was born in Africa. But when you're dealing with people of different religions and different cultures, you've got to take that into mind as well. I have, especially from my Black American agents, desperately want to go to Robben Island, whereas the white American agents have, we don't want to go to Robben Island. So you've got to be very careful where and what and how you use yourself as well. If you have strict Jewish Orthodox, just make sure that you're not traveling on the Sabbath. Take those little things into account as well. Dietary requirements, 100%. Please let us know. I had somebody once who was allergic to sesame seed oil, and you don't realize, but that's used in a lot of salad dressings.
Right.
So age-wise as well, physical capabilities. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Let's go. Lena says, a quick question here for groups: do you provide a commission or is it a net price, and they can do a markup?
We do both. And one of the first things that Stella does, I think she's a rat terrier, because you have some agents who try and lie about the associations and the hosts they belong to, because they don't want to share the commission. We find those, and my little rat terrier gets them, okay, and then she takes you to pieces. No, we will do a net and a commission. But again, please remember, we respect you, the agent, but we respect your host even more.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
your host works for you. Yeah.
It's all about relationships. Gina posted here that Africa is on her bucket list. So Gina, she's like what Robin said before. When you get married, you pick a date. Pick a date, because I think Robin has convinced me as well. Nancy says, hi, Stuart. Welcome, Robin. First of all, I love Africa, and I'm reading her note here. Went last year with G Adventures to Cape Town, Kruger, and Victoria Falls with 7 others for 16 days. Heading back to Namibia, Botswana in May with a private group for almost 3 weeks. About risk of using ground guides versus with the larger tour operator but more specialized. I think I'll have a group every year. Gorillas and Tanzania are on the top of the list. Can you work with lower budgets? So there's a question. P.S. I'm flying to Tennessee today and heading to Kentucky over Easter weekend. Well, welcome to Tennessee in advance.
Welcome to Kentucky.
Welcome to Kentucky. So clearly you did answer that question. You can work with lower budgets, and that you would never put into an itinerary something that you would deem not worthy. But there are different levels of accommodations and experiences.
Correct. You know, and one thing that I'm not going to use any of the company names purposefully. If they come out, I do apologize. But be careful in using companies that do everything. You know, use somebody that specializes. If you want somebody for Greece, for Ireland, you use somebody. Use an Irishman who's living here, who's been there, done there, who takes you to meet his family. What some of the groups really enjoy is having tea with my mother in Cape Town. You know, it's something small, but it's something big because I'm taking you home. So as I say, you know, using a ground handler. Make sure you know their track record. Make sure what associations they belong to. You can call Nexion, you can call KHM, and you can say, what can you tell me about Ntaba? Faith will give you the good rundown, or a rundown.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Dawn says, are you totally photographic safaris, or do you also offer hunting packages?
Okay, this question came up again last night. Yes, I do offer hunting packages, but I'm not going to put that on my website because of the controversial dentists that come and shoot our lions in Southern Africa. Our hunting in South Africa is very, very well structured. I do not offer hunting anywhere else but South Africa because of what happened with the lion in Zimbabwe. I'm not going to do East African hunting either because we had some hunters taken out. I do South Africa. What I've often had is when I've had a group of people, maybe just the father and the son want to go hunting and the woman don't. What they'll do while they're staying at at the lodges, like even yourself in 19, when you have your family there, maybe you've got some guy just dying to blast a little Impala to pieces. What he'd
not me.
Me neither. Been there, done that when I was in the military. But you know what we'll do is they will come and be fetched by the game lodge in the morning. And this so you do not run a photographic and a hunting on the same lodge, and so yeah, no, and yeah. In fact, what does the word safari mean? Does anybody know what the word safari means?
Let's see if anybody we got a lot of great questions coming in. Does anybody know what safari means? Go ahead and type it in now, and I will submit it to Robin to see if you are. Don't Google it, everybody. Don't look it up. Do you know what it means? And wait. Mitch, hey, Mitch is in the house. Safari means exploration.
It means exploration in a very well for a very well English person. And actually, if you take the direct Swahili translation, it means long, arduous journey. And if you put an M in front of it, it means a traveler. And very often in East Africa, I get called Msafari Ntaba, the traveler Ntaba. But it has nothing to do with hunting. A lot of people think safari is all about hunting. It's a journey.
Thank you for really describing that because I didn't know. I didn't have that answer. I wasn't sure. And that's beautiful. So agents, write that down.
Exactly, yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that. Nancy says, is it realistic to try and combine gorilla with a Tanzania safari, or should these be 2 separate adventures?
100%. That's why I say it. Again, it is one of those. Oops, the wrong finger came out there. It's one of those. Yeah. I do this year. I'm leading 4 groups through Rwanda and Tanzania. The ground handler from Tanzania is actually coming to stay with me in June. He's spending a weekend with me. You know, that is how close we work with our people. My ground handler for Tanzania was a porter on Kilimanjaro, became a guide, married an Australian girl, and they have a wonderful company. So those are the people I use. Tanzania and I like to combine Tanzania and Rwanda. You can also combine Uganda and Rwanda, Uganda and Tanzania. But right now I'm doing Rwanda and Tanzania, and I personally lead those groups.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Listen, everybody. Robin personally leads these groups. That's pretty awesome. Paula, hi Paula, welcome. What are the best times of the year, weather-wise, to travel to both Eastern and Southern Africa?
Okay, East Africa is more susceptible to seasonal rains. Remember, Cape Town has a Mediterranean climate, so they have their rain in wintertime. South Africa's winter is May, June, July, August. You know, at one stage I used to say March, April, May, September, October, November. And the reason I did that was because of the high season, June, July, August. But it's the high season from the USA to Africa. Now, that is winter time. You know, I've got, in fact, one of the groups I got last night went in July last year and want to go again in July next year. You know, it's winter time in South Africa. Johannesburg is a mile high, so you do get frost and snow in winter, but it's more of a transfer port. Some people enjoy that cooler game drive. October, November can get very hot in South Africa. Up in East Africa, you've got to just January, February, March. You've got to avoid the rainy season. And then again, if you want me to speak about inoculations, I can talk about that if somebody's asked it.
Not yet, but let's mark that down. We'll get to that. We got wonderful questions coming in. And by the way, I want to thank you again, Robin, for being here on the Ask Stuart Hour and sharing this with us. I'm learning a great deal, and I've got to believe everybody on our boot campers and our guests are enjoying this as well. We have a very active question box here. Lena wants to know, do you do wine tours in South Africa?
Oh my goodness, I've got a wonderful, I don't even want to call her an employee, a partner of ours, Jamie Bundy, from Salinas, California, who is going out in the Bay today or tomorrow with the CCRA group, and she's presenting a wine safari. And yes, we do culinary safaris as well. South Africa has got almost 400-year-old wine industry. So as I often make a joke and say, we have the British to thank for our wine industry, because when the French arrived, the British told the French to push off into the mountains and go and live there. We're better for a Frenchman to live than in sea-facing mountains with a Mediterranean climate. So absolutely.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. I like that. Paula has a follow-up. What animals are they allowed to hunt in South Africa?
Basically, yeah, it sounds terrible, okay? Paula, I will answer that personally later.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Well, you know, let me give you a good example that I gave to the guys last night. One of the game reserves that we use had a male rhinoceros, a white rhino, that was becoming impotent, or was impotent. And because he was the largest rhino, he was the dominant male. And he hammered these poor young boys who wanted to get business done. And so what was happening is their rhino population was declining, not from poaching, but from, you know, the big old boy who couldn't do the job. So what they did is they sold him, I'm going to use a figure, for $1 million to one of the hunting ranchers, okay? So they darted him, translocated him, sold him, and he was hunted by, let's say, an American hunter, or let's say a British hunter, for, let's just say, $5 million. What happens to that money? Okay, that guy has gone now from a situation that now actually is beneficial to that game reserve, because now the younger males are getting in, able to cover the cows and producing baby rhinos. So that money, you know, the guy is very impressed that he's got his rhino head and whatever, but that meat goes to the local population, and look at the trickle-down effect of that money. Children can go to school, teachers can teach. So, yeah.
Interesting. Well, thanks for taking time to really give us a much bigger picture on that. Mitch, I can't tell if this is serious, but Mitch says here he has a request for hugging a baby elephant. Can you handle that? I don't know.
Come here, Mitch, let me give you a hug. Mitch, in all seriousness, we do have that privilege up in Zimbabwe. We don't, ETA or PETA or PETA or whatever, have closed down some of the elephant, and I'm thrilled that they've done this in Asia, where these elephants are chained and in some terrible situations.
Yeah.
A wonderful operation that we use in Zimbabwe. I've actually ridden the elephants there many times. In fact, up in my office upstairs, I have a footprint of George where they put his foot on the paint, and these are all orphan elephants. What happened from time to time in situations, there are big thunderstorms, and a herd will split. And like all children in a supermarket, when the fire alarm goes off, mommy's more scared about the child than the fire, and this is what happens as well. You know, the child will get lost. So yeah, I've had some incredible privileges. I've had baby elephants, been there, done that.
Wow. Well, because Mitch typed in, he said it's legit, so he wants to hug a baby elephant. All right.
And I will take the photograph of you hugging it. Hunting it, I won't take the photograph. Hugging it, I will.
I like that. I like that. Nancy says, when do you expect the wildebeest to migrate? And part 2, what's the climate in Rwanda in May?
Rwanda's still a bit rainy in May. Rwanda I like to do in June, July, August, and much the same with the migration as well. June, July, August, September is a good time for the migration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dawn adds here, thank you for addressing some of the hunting questions and issues. It is so taboo in many circles, but I appreciate you giving us a different viewpoint.
Exactly.
So that was very, very well received, Robin. Thank you. You know, I was tooling around your website, which, of course, as everybody you would imagine is NtabaTours.com.
NtabaAfrica.com.
Say it again.
NtabaAfrica.com. So it's just NtabaAfrica.com. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, but if you Google Ntaba, you'll find us.
Okay. Yeah. No, it came up all over the place. So you had, right on the front page there, destination weddings and honeymoons. Talk to us about that, because in the group genre, that's big business. I would have never thought of a destination wedding in South Africa.
Why not? Why not? We actually had we had a destination wedding 2 weeks ago. It was an LGBT wedding, and went off wonderful. 2 gentlemen, one from America, one from Ethiopia, and we arranged everything from the pastor down to the ceremony, and they had a wonderful time. Wow. Honeymoon, I will be very honest with everybody who's on there. I have not done a destination wedding yet, and it's your fault, not mine. Again, okay. As people get to know us, I mean, some of those game lodges, I mean, I have a game lodge that only sleeps 20 people. I have a game lodge that only sleeps 40 people. And we've had a couple of destination weddings that almost happened and then didn't happen. But honeymoons, we have honeymoons happening all the time. In fact, we have a honeymoon registry, and we are the only safari company that I know out there that actually has a honeymoon registry. And guys, again, you know, honeymoon business is so important. We don't realize it. It's such a foot in the door, because you're taking Stephen and Jeff and Mary. But Stephen and Mary have got parents, and they've got parents-in-law, and they've got grandparents, they've got uncles and aunties, and they go with your vacation honeymoon.com, Stuart's honeymoon company, and bang, you've got more and more business that comes with that. Yeah. And we've seen this a lot.
Yep. In your experience working with so many agents doing groups with you, let's just focus specifically on groups now, group business, because I know you have a very generous TC or whatever you want to call it, TC, or right. What do you see on both ends of the spectrum now? Please share with us the agents who are most successful. What's their secret? 1 or 2 secrets, even if it's just one. And at the other end of the spectrum, what do you see agents who try and fail? What are they doing wrong? Where are they missing the mark? Let's learn from the best in the biz, and let's learn from the mistakes, so our agents who are tuned in will learn the better ways, the better methods.
I think, just to go back to that little acronym DDB, destination, date, and budget. Mm-hmm. You know, when I have an agent who, before I even say DDB, who gets hold of me and says, I've got 5 people who want to go to South Africa in September 2018, and their budget is XYZ. Bang, there they go. And they generally are the ones who will work. When I have the ones who are all over the, I'm trying to get my hand right, all over the show, here and there, and I'm busy in 17 and I don't know about 18, and it's like, you know, I will guarantee you the most successful people listening to your presentation now are the ones who can, excuse me, damn well make a date. Exactly, you know, make a date. I mean, what did I do with you, Stu? I'm sorry if I bullied you, okay? But, you know, I know, you know, working with you now, what else have I picked up? You know, I presume, again, we all assume and make an AWS out of you and me, but I presume that a lot of your family would be from the Jewish faith. So I'll make sure that when we're in Cape Town, we go and see the Jewish Museum. I'll make sure that we are there on the Sabbath, that we can go to one of the services. Those are the small things that we look at doing for the agent. And again, you know, what I say to an agent, there is no such thing as TMI. No. I don't care if you tell me how much you weigh. You get what I'm saying? You just give us all the information you can. And yeah, and everybody out there can do it. And again, the next step with that would be networking. Somebody who belongs to Rotary, somebody who belongs to the Kiwanis, somebody who can get up in a soapbox and say, like Tony Anderson, she's TONI, who says, I'm going to Africa, who wants to join me?
Who wants to join me?
God, well, Robin, help me, help!
Listen, this is what, and my boot campers know this. This is what I did with my river cruise. Yep. Kimberly and I, we did it for a honeymoon. I had done it prior to with Amber Waterways. We loved it so much. We said we want to go back. Hey, and we realized that when we came back, we're talking about people. Most people have never done it before. Most people have never done a safari, and so I'm trying to connect the two. And we looked and said, what? Why don't we just open it up to friends and family? So that's what we did. We said, hey, we're going on the Rhine River. In April of 2017, this was 2 years prior, Robin. We started, we didn't take, well, I did my own group loan sequence. We took nobody's money, didn't talk about the price. Even my mom had to sit through the presentation series before I told her how much she was paying. And we did great. We're going with a couple of dozen people in a week. And the same can be done with a safari. So a question, Robin, is it ever too early to plan a safari?
No. You know, I look at Stella and myself. We were engaged longer than what we dated. There we go. I rest my case. Yeah. Guys, take a stab at it, because Stuart, I'm going to go way out on a limb. I'm going to guarantee you, once you've been to South Africa in 2019, you're going to be saying, Robin, tell me about those gorillas in East Africa. Tell me about the Savuti in Botswana. This is the same thing as well. And you know, when an agent is doing this as a business, I mean, look at the light above your head. How does that work? You've got to get people out there and create that trust. You know, find out a little bit more about Ntaba. You're welcome. You know, you can give them names of people to call as well. But you know, be confident with the person that you're working with.
Yep, agreed. Lena asks, do you take care of international air as well?
We do. We do take care of international air. We are a preferred supplier with South African Air. And guess what? None of us make money on air. But guess what? I know that Kruger National Park has got 5 airports. Can you fly me to Kruger, please? I will. Which one? So that's very important. What we do, we respect anybody with Sky Miles. Oh my God, let's not talk United right now, because United is a partner with South African Airways. But anybody with United Miles or Delta Miles, Delta flies directly from Atlanta to South Africa. So anybody with you know, a couple of 100,000 Sky Miles, use them, please.
Yeah. That's a great point. Nancy asks, do you work the cost of the agent trip or the group leader into the other participants' cost? So do you do that, or does the agent do it because you can provide a net rate? Do you get involved in that process?
100%. This is where I mentioned the 11 plus 1. 11 is you can go 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 21. Yeah, I can count it. And because why I do that, let's say it's Nancy and her husband. So Nancy is the 11th person. I take Nancy's cost. I'm glad we don't have clients here. I take Nancy's cost and I divide that over the clients, okay? Over the 11 clients. Her husband, because he's saving me paying for a single supplement, I then will put him in at my cost price, just to make sure it happened. Because I did that, well, now Granny and her friend can come as well. So this is what happened. We do that, Stella was a computer programmer, so she's written the programs for that, where she will actually do it. We take that sweat out of it for the agents.
Yeah, I love it. That's music to my ears, and I would imagine to your ears too, agents. I love it, love it, love it, because that's where it can get a little dicey. And I always tell my friends, whatever business, I know how to make money. I don't know how to manage it. So when you have partners like this who can help you work out the dollars and cents, it makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Diane says she came in late. What is the TC policy? You just said it. 11 plus 1.
Correct. The reason I go to 11, because you can go 5, 7, 9, but that's a lot of cost you're going to put onto those people.
Right.
We have also worked it. Stella also works it with 11 plus 1 with a commission. Mm-hmm. But you've got to be careful that you're not loading your clients too much.
Right, exactly. Because then there's always that fine line, that balance that shows them great value but also covers costs. You have to find that balance. Nancy says, are you available June of 2018, 2 to 3 weeks, Tanzania, Rwanda? How many days can we spend with the gorillas? What is the minimum maximum group size? That's June 2018, 2 to 3 weeks.
100%. It's a little bit early for the migration. I will chat to if she wouldn't mind emailing me. I'll chat to her. I am available. I've got groups in August of 2018 because we've got to buy those gorilla permits now already. They are hen's teeth. They are very difficult to get. But I'll chat to you. June could be a little bit too early for that. Let's chat about it.
Okay.
I do not mean this in a crude way, but I mean a little bit of humor with it. Size doesn't matter, okay? Size doesn't matter. Okay. I had one gentleman that I didn't mean to be rude to one day. He said to me, I want to go to Africa. So I said, okay, and I is who? He said his name, and I said, well, how many of you? He said, just me. Yeah. So I said, don't you have any friends? He traveled alone. The largest group that we've taken, it was the University of Louisville's alumni. I've taken 80 people, and being a former military officer, Stella being a computer programmer, it's one of the easiest things we've done. I've taken groups of 8, and they were from hell.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Mitch wants to know, do you have a sort of a pro forma for interviewing safari prospects? Do you have a list of questions or things to look for, how to qualify to ask the right questions with a trip like this?
This is where, as I said, our cell numbers are actually available on our website, and I've had many conversations like this, quick conversation with an agent, and I will say, basically, like I mentioned, DDB, but also, find out, have they traveled before? Have they been, what other parts of the world have they been to? And safari doesn't always mean crawling into a little pub tent and having bugs fly in and fly out. When you go to Mala Mala, when you go to Sabi Sabi, you have a butler standing there with the white serviette over his arm. When you go to some of the smaller lodges, Pandoro, Sausage Tree, and Ndlovu, these are more budget conscious lodges. Okay. But still, I mean, that's what I try and find out when I'm speaking to an agent. This is what all of us in our office do. Gayleen actually joined me to South Africa last year with her mother. Her mother is legally blind, and she had a wonderful time. She actually saw the Big Five, and it was midday. She was able to get the sun right, and as an animal moved, she was able to see it. Wow. And Gayleen is joining me in August to do a fam group with Nexion, but just so that she can pass on what we do as well to agents.
Right. Yep. Beautiful. Lynn asks, if we want to plan a safari, what upfront financial commitment is required to hold space?
Okay, we are very bold, blunt, and terrible. We say 25% non-refundable. Okay. And that scares a lot of people off, but I'm not asking you, Stu, who's traveling in 2019 for a 25% non-refundable. I'm asking for a date, like with your wife. You asked her for a date. You didn't start doing everything else that comes with it.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Give us a date that because we've got to go and procure accommodation. And we are strong enough and have been in the business long enough that we can procure that accommodation. Stella will then start discussing it with you. You're right, let's break that 25 down into 12 and a half. You know, we have payment packages. We have people who've been paying over so many years or so many months and pay. You know, again, we are not the big companies, the one that starts with a G or whatever else. You know, we work with you.
All right, I love it. That's great. It's very. I personally love working with companies that I know the people, and if I know the owners, that makes it even better. And if they're going to come on tour with me, that makes it even better.
Exactly. I had a excuse the expression, a little old lady one day who put her finger in my face like that and says, you know why I like you? So I said, well, tell me. She said, I know where to get you.
Yes.
And it's so true. You know, you deal with a website, and who on earth are you dealing with? You know, you come to 1210 Yuma Trail, we'll be there. You go to the Destination Honeymoon and Weddings Conference in Nashville. Stella, I mean in Las Vegas, Stella will be there.
Yeah, I know. This is great. I love it. Mitch asks about camera gear. Is there some kind of camera gear you do or do not recommend? I would imagine you've seen folks on safari have success and no success.
Very good question. Very good question, Mitch. If you go to my website in Ntaba African Safaris, you will see a company there called Borrow Lenses. You can go and get the big old bazooka that I carry, which gives you, but generally your cell phone. And I'm in fact a lot of the good video that I shot in Rwanda this last year was shot on my cell phone.
Wow.
But there are good cameras. You're welcome to call me. I will recommend cameras. I shoot with a Nikon 7200, and then I shoot, as I say, with a 2 to 500 mil zoom. But you know, the picture behind me with the zebra and with the lion, you know, those were all shot for we don't use anybody else's photographs, as you've seen. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I like that. Great question, Mitch. Alina, I'm going to read this now. When I did my last group, I picked the dates and I put together a skeleton trip. Once I had my small group, I organized a get-together for everyone and had everyone bring a list of 3 wishes for the trip.
Wonderful.
I then took all of their wishes home and added it to the group. Most of the wishes were incorporated for everybody, but there were a couple of deviations. One couple wanted 2 extra days at a safari. There were also a choice B on some days when the rest of the group would go on to wineries, and some would go and do cooking. And I'm going to pronounce this wrong, so I'm just going to read the letters, and you tell me. Keep me honest, Robin. B-O-K-A-A-P. Bukap.
Yeah, Bukap. Yeah.
Bukap.
Yeah.
Okay. It worked out great because people felt that they got all the benefits of a group as well as FIT. Alina, this is beautiful. Thank you for sharing this, and I know Robin is happy to hear it too, and everyone else. Boy, if you want me to copy and paste this and email this out to everybody, I think this is magnificent, especially with such a trip that could be complex, a trip that you may not be used to assembling and putting together. Meet with the people, get the structure down, pick, as Robin has said, get that date, DDB, get the date down, meet with the people, and you may be surprised the variety of experiences, because this is it's so personal. They may only go once to this area.
Exactly. It's a lifetime experience. On the way back, coming down from Cleveland this morning, I was driving, Stella was napping, and I'll give you the lady's name, Monica Grundy. She called us, and she has clients going with us, and she asked. In fact, these are clients joining the group. She said, Robin, but they want to do more days safari, and we said no. So they're flying in earlier, doing more days safari, meeting us in Cape Town, coming and doing some more safari, and they are thrilled. And this is what we love as well. You know, in 1994, my name was on the ballot. I actually ran against Nelson Mandela. And one of the great things we do is we have guest speakers when we're in specifically Cape Town. Okay. One of my guest speakers is a guy by the name of Christo Brand. He wrote the book Mandela, My Prisoner, My Friend. So here's a guy who handcuffed Mandela and who bathed Mandela, you know.
Wow.
And, you know, that guy sitting and talking to you is just, but again, those are the, you know, the Boerkaap is a beautiful area. That's again, when I discuss the history, when I'm on safari with you. Another thing as well, guys, that is so important is, as I mentioned, webinars.
Yeah.
Let me say somebody goes DDB, or they get a date, they get everything, they get the budget, and they say, Rob, I've got a group that want to hear a presentation. If I'm in Africa, I can do it from there. Galen can do it from here. Stella can do it from there. But each of your agents or of your clients will see this little face, will hear the same presentation, and you might have somebody saying, well, I'm scared of malaria, or I'm scared of this, or Ebola, or whatever.
Yeah.
And we will set your guys' minds at rest.
Beautiful. That's important. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, everybody, we've got 6 minutes left. So if you've got last questions, comments, go ahead and put them out there. And I know that Robin is open to hearing from you either by phone or by email. And I will make sure I put the email in the follow-up after the webinar that you get, the follow-up. But would you just tell everybody your email address should they want to contact you?
Robin, R-O-B-I-N, at Ntaba, N-T-A-B-A, Africa.com.
Okay. Got it.
And if they want to email Stella, it would just be Stella or Galen, just our first names.
Perfect. Thank you. Here we go. Lena adds, what do you think about lodges such as Shamwari compared to lodges up in Kruger? I went on a fam to Shamwari, but I have not been to Kruger. I like the fact that if you want to go to Cape Town, Shamwari is close, so no air is needed.
No, Shamwari is not close to Cape Town unless you drive. I am a qualified game ranger. I have spent many hundreds of hours in the bush. I personally do not like the Southern Cape or the Eastern Cape game reserves. I'm a Kruger Park boy. I'm an East Africa boy. I do not like the East Africa or the Eastern Cape game reserves. I don't believe we get the experience. I mean, what some of the clients really enjoy is flying into the let's just say Hoedspruit, which is one of the Kruger Park game reserve or airports, and getting picked up in the same vehicle that you do your safari in. That means a lot. And then, as I say, I'm sorry if I pop anybody's bubble. I know Shamwari. I know the areas very well. I've got family that go back generations there. But as I say, if you want to see real Africa, the eastern boundary with Kruger, with Mozambique has the animals. Yeah.
Great. Well, we love this. I love this. Just nothing but pure honesty. Gina asks, do you offer FAMs? 100%.
I'm leading 3 FAMs this year. I'm leading a FAM for CCRA. I'm leaving this time next week. I'll be in South Africa leading. I'm working with Dick Marson. I'm leading a FAM for Nection in August of this year that I mentioned Galen will be joining me on. And I'm leading a FAM for TRO for Richard in December. But remember, guys, what's the best FAM? 11 plus 1.
There you go. I like that. Gina has asked that I do send out what Lena had typed. So, Lena, do I have your permission to share that with everybody? How you structured it, how you got that information? I think it's beautiful. And
I'd like to say congratulations, Lena. Really, we need more of you.
In fact, Lena asked, how do we get on the list for your FAMs? So where do our agents find out about your FAMs?
Email me and I'll pass them on to you. As I say, like Nection. In fact, if you're a member of Nection, their FAM is on the list. TRO is coming up shortly. Get hold of me. Come on, I'll twist your arm and make you get a group. Okay, that's what we want.
That's it. Right. Just tell family and friends. You'll be shocked how many people go, oh, I've always wanted to go. Then you pick a date. See, I'm learning. Mitch says, I have preferred suppliers through my consortium. I need to justify the use of other suppliers like you. Apparently, your company is not with these. Any input there?
I love it. I actually thought about this question while I was driving this morning. Mitch, I love you, my friend. I don't care whether you're virtuoso, whether you any one of the, I'm going to be very careful, but I'll use virtuoso. Any consortium member can use Ntaba. We are USTO. We have all the accreditation we need. I just say if Dick Marson from CCRA, if Jackie Friedman from Nection, if Richard from TRO can trust Ntaba enough, I think you can. And there's nothing. You still get your commission. And if you are with a consortium that we are not with, it's up to you to let us know where you want that check to go, either directly to you or to outside agents who we're not with. Or
Right, and it's also different, everybody. You know, if you're a member of a consortium versus if you use a host. If you use a host, the commissions will typically go through the host, then through you.
Correct.
And if you do book a supplier outside the host group, you may be legally bound by your independent contractor to report that anyway. If you're with a consortium, because I was on the consortium side of this business for many, many years. In fact, I helped launch vacation.com from day one. Then you are truly independent. You have a host. But we're getting off track. We've got 60 seconds before I thank you officially, Robin. I want to tell everybody, all of my boot campers, that you're not going to see me again until May 9th, because I am going on the Rhine River with friends and family, and I hope to be able to tell you in 2019 I'm going friends and family to South Africa on Ntaba tours with Robin and Stella as my escorts. But I'll be back May 9th for the Ask Stuart Hour. Then on May 16th, we've got a special guest, Mark Campagnon with Carnival Cruises. He's awesome. He's great at groups. He's coming on the show as special guest expert. Then again, May 25th, so make sure you mark it on your calendars. Robin, any parting words for our agents, and then we're going to go.
Thank you for the privilege.
Well, we thank you for the privilege of having your expertise and your passion on the Ask Stuart Hour. Warm regards to Stella.
Thank you very much. And remember, agents, we are here for you.
Thanks, everybody. Happy sales.